Hi everyone, and welcome to Elite Rugby SandC podcast. Today is episode 6. First off, if you haven't already, sign up and join the Elite Rugby SandC program. We provide you with all your strength, conditioning, speed, and recovery needs. You can try before you buy. So we have a 7-day, $7 trial, which gives you a taste of what we offer here at Elite Rugby SandC. So take your game to the next level, become a beast, and join Elite Rugby SandC community. G'day, Ben. How are you going?
Yeah, really good, thank you. How about you this afternoon?
I'm going well, thanks. So today we're going to be talking about how to train like an athlete. This is a term I see commonly thrown around by coaches on social media, and I just want to get our understanding of what it is to train like an athlete. So what does it mean to you, Ben?
Yeah, so for me, rather than going into the technical stuff straight away, it's probably the philosophy of what you're doing. So a lot of people actually go to the gym and work out, or they go for a run, or they decide one day that they might go and do some speed work, and then they might do some skills, at the spur of the moment. So training like an athlete would be you have an end goal and you break those goals down into little goals, and then you refine your training program that you create to have benchmarks to reach certain areas to know how well you are going on that goal. So for me, training like an athlete is training for a purpose and an outcome that you know that there's some shortfalls where you know you need to get better so that you can compete or become the best athlete you can, or make a team that you want to make, or make that next level of competition. So it's not just your training, it's your prep work, your sleeping, your nutrition, and the focus that you have with your training. So rather than just going to the gym and going, I might do 5 sets of 5 today on these exercises and going for it. That's more a working out without a purpose. So that would be the philosophy I see of training like an athlete versus not training like an athlete.
I think building off of what you just said, which is hit the nail on the head, is training like an athlete is not just being really strong and powerful. It's being those things, but it's also being well conditioned. It's being able to run fast and repeat those efforts. It's being able to have the ability to cut and change direction really effectively in your sport and the movement specific to your sport as well. It's being able to jump and land, pass and catch for us at rugby, and being able to do that at speed. It's also how to tackle, pilfer, flick pass, kick, and also how to track someone as well. So I think it's applying all the knowledge and gains that you've learned in the gym into the field. So I feel like people often forget the field stuff in rugby and really get too honed in on the gym stuff, and really forget those other attributes that actually make up rugby.
I really like what you've done there. And the gym should be supporting your on-field activities. That's it, both in training and game. So that's why you do it. You can actually play rugby without doing that, but you won't do it as well. You won't be as resilient or potentially be as dominant, but you can play rugby without going to the gym. But good luck actually being a really good rugby player doing that. That's the skills and things that you need to do on the field that supports, really.
So at your time at the elite level, what would be the split between gym and field? Is it around 50-50 or 60-40? What was the split in your experience?
So let's talk about different times of the year. So let's talk about the pre-season. So if you're lucky, in that period of time, you'll get 4 hours possibly per week within the gym. So when you break up the amount of training that they're probably doing between 20 to anywhere to 22, 24 hours. So that shows you how much that is actually done in the gym. In the in-season, you might do, depending on if I'm talking about a 7-day turnaround here, you'd have a lower body day, an upper body day, and a power day. And the power day would be, you're talking about sometimes 30 to 40 minutes. So you might be doing, including everything, 2 hours and 40 minutes you would have through a 7-day week through there. and the amount of time that they have on field would be more than double that. So in terms of a percentage, the field's a massive component. The gym is there to support that. So a lot of people look on our social media and go, oh, why aren't they lifting this much? Why aren't they doing that? You can see some guys training in season, some props doing 200 kilo squats. Yeah, they've probably got a field session that day. The next day, they've probably got a unit and a field session that afternoon. They are able to do that, yet have a lot of time on the field to get good at rugby. So it's a very, very different from other situations.
I think that's very important for our listeners as well, is to not to spend heaps and heaps of hours in the gym. It's also spending a lot of time on the field, honing on those skills. I think at Clubland, the split would favor gym more than the field, just because the access to the gym is a lot more easier. What advice would you give to those athletes at Clubland? Missing up my words there.
Yeah, that's okay. Look, I've done a lot of work in Clubland. I've probably, as you would know, it's set up an academy at a club. So we sort of transferred where they weren't doing much gym and they were doing field versus that. But my advice would be, remember the goal of the gym. The goal of the gym is to make you powerful, strong, carry a little bit more size if necessary for you, to assist your field training. Okay. So sometimes, like in a pre-season block at a club, I might have them say 4 times a week, but very different. They would have been doing a lower body day, a shorter upper body day into 90-minute field session, a day off, and then they'd come in for, say, an upper or a lower body session into a field session, or that would be a field session would happen if they're doing lower body afterwards, and then a little top-up upper body. So very similar to, say, the elite level in the off-season, but in season, sometimes I'd have programs there for guys depending on what they're working, once a week, twice a week, and an option for 3 times if they could. Rarely would people do 3. I think in season twice at Clubland, if you're doing 90 to 2-hour field sessions, which you tend to do a lot in Clubland, and then playing Saturday, I'd be happy with guys doing 2 1-hour quality gym sessions, or even 45 minutes in season, as long as it's really good quality. And what's your sort of split and ratios that you're working on recently?
Yeah, I would say the same. So I think in my experience with the club level, didn't say land that time, so level, that it's just trying to maybe to begin with is have that even split of time in the gym and the field. But then also, if you can, add some of the skill work that you need to work on into the gym. So that can be before and after, having a few balls around and a few tackle pads and all that, and really adding that into honing down on those little skills, especially if you're talking to the coach and you're like, oh, this player needs to work on that. Awesome. Well, you're only giving them 4 hours a week, so 2 training sessions. What else can they do outside of it? And then that's where, as you as the player and the coach, add some of those skill sessions to your gym session before or after, I think is a really good skill to have. Good way to go around that.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. Sometimes at the academy level, a very similar situation. If you've got a good coaching staff and good players in there, even putting little passing stuff between core components or different things like that in your gym session, so you're actually contrasting in a way, as long as you've got the room and the discipline to actually still get your work done. Yeah, you've nailed that on the head there, like those extra micro skills that can be interesting terminology, microdosed through sessions.
Yeah, totally. And at times in the gym, in my experience, I didn't even bring the footy into the gym. There might have been just a couple of footies laying around, and you'll be surprised with the athletes just pick it up, start passing it in between, and then all those reps do add up. But they also just have conversations as well and just get to know each other and joke around and play a bit of games as well. And just all that microdosing does pay off in the end.
Yeah. Agreed.
So outside of training, how can athletes improve their performance, which you briefly touched on? I want to go more in depth. So talking about, say, recovery, sleep, mobility, watching film, and their mental health.
Yeah, so controlling the controllables. So in our lives, we can do some work. We determine when we go to bed. We can determine when we get up. We can determine from our hand what gets put in our mouth, and we can determine what time of day we do that usually. Sometimes your work might limit that. So what we can do is be prepared to know that if you've trained hard, you've got to recover and put that nutrition in your body. Also, I really like the last little bit that you've asked about what can you do in terms of mental health. It's freshen up and switch off. I really think that you should spend some time away with some other activities. So you really need something outside of rugby to switch off from it. Whether that's, if people aren't around, it could be reading books. And it's sometimes playing computer games, whatever. Just don't stay up too late doing it. Also, making sure that you've got a social network. And it's probably been hard for the last couple of years where you haven't been able to, but there's no reason if you're away from friends that you can't do something like this, FaceTime, Zoom, jump on there and do that type of stuff. But just always remember, like in sport, you potentially, and I hate sounding negative, you're only possibly an injury away from not, playing again if it's really bad, or sitting out for months. So you've got to actually have other things you can do. So if you're really stressed, watch a comedy, have a favorite TV show, have someone that you catch up talking about it. Just make sure that your life isn't so overtaken by your goal that you don't have other things to actually vent and enjoy life. How about you? What are your thoughts?
I think it's just making sure that you have a routine. So obviously we want you to hone down on your field and gym training and making the most of every single session that you have. But then it's also, once that session is done, you've given it your all. Okay, I need to then put some food into my belly, hone my nutrition and hydration, but then also learn how to switch off. And switching off could be watching something on Netflix or Stan, or playing video games, but obviously you're not staying up too late. Or it could just be chilling out and talking to friends and family, and being able to switch off from the game can really help you in the long run, not burn out, but could also give you just more clarity on what's important to you in your life as well. Just because rugby is just a game at the end of the day, it is going to end at one stage. So you need to make sure that you got relationships and also things working in the background. But it can also help you then solve the problem that might, say, for instance, you're missing tackles or something like that. You're just focusing like, oh, how can I improve my tackle tech? How can I improve that? And you're just switched on all the time. If you're able to switch off, get away from the game, relax a bit, enjoy life, and then come back to it, just having that fresh mindset might be able to help you get over that hump and then improve that skill as well. And I think people don't sort of understand that and just want to keep switched on rugby 24/7. And yeah, I think you really got to be able to learn how to switch off properly.
I'm just going to ask you a question here that you're not even prepared for at all.
Oh.
For you, what was something that you needed to work on to improve? How did you do it, and how did you ensure that you had time to switch off from it?
So for our listeners, I'm the one who comes up with all the questions. So this is really out of the blue for Ben to come up with a question. So
I agree to it.
So for me to be able to fix a problem, it's a good question. So I think it comes down back to my routine. So getting home for, say, when I was playing, getting home from training, just mindlessly scrolling on Instagram a bit can help. Having some good food, and also just going for walks. Like I can't remember a problem that I haven't solved by going for a 10 to 15 minute walk. And I might be focusing on the problem at the start of the walk, but by the end of the walk, I'm thinking my mind has wandered to something completely different. And just in that time, I was able to switch off, focus on something else, reflect. And I think that's really helped me. I think also as a coach, keeping a journal, and that journal helps me focus on things that I did well. So, also focus on things that I think I could have done better. And then what's my action plan? Because for me, if I write it out of my head and onto a piece of paper, that allows me then to switch off and then know that I've written it down. I can look back at it tomorrow and then just enjoy, say, my evening of just unwinding. So I think journaling is probably another cool and exciting way that you can help improve your game. And I think it's something that a lot of athletes are doing these days as well.
Yeah, I guess that's the importance of having a good training program and actually, writing what you did, and then try and look at it next time. It's similar to that journaling. You can put that away. You don't have to think about it in your memory. Bring it back out.
Totally. And also with the journaling, you can also write down what you're grateful for as well. So I think that's probably a good way to focus on the positivity and also not focusing on something that just went wrong in that rugby session. You can just really focus on what's going really well in your life and then help you just understand how good of a position you're in and then have a good sleep and then get back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, brilliant. Cool.
Did you have any sort of final thoughts on how to train like an athlete for our listeners?
Yeah, it's whenever you're trying to get a goal, you've got to know your why. So your why will get you through those difficult situations, right? Why are you training this hard? Why are you going to bed early? Why are you going to keep pushing through rather than actually not getting the number of reps you said that you would in your running? When you hold that close to you and you understand your why, all the difficulties and the how, you'll find that quite easily. Just the bigger the why, the more chance of you adhering and becoming the best version of yourself that you can be.
I think having that why written down and put around places in your house or apartment and just waking up and seeing that, say if it's in the bathroom mirror, you have, for instance, mum or dad, and having that written down and just seeing that, say the first thing in the morning, can really help you put you into perspective and just get your focus as well. And if you're having a bad day, you just remember who you're doing it for. And I think that can help a lot.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cool. So I feel like, sort of like I said at the start, that athletes and coaches can get confused with the term train like an athlete. And I think this episode has really helped clear up and provide our athletes and coaches who are listening with the information that they need to understand what an athlete needs to do. So thank you to our listeners for listening today. So remember to like, subscribe, and rate this podcast on Spotify. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you share this episode to any rugby athletes, friends, or family that think can benefit from listening to this. Sign up today and become a beast via the link in the description below or via our Instagram page. Don't wait. Make that good decision and join the Elite Rugby SandC program and take your game to the next level. So thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Kieren. Hopefully you get to write down that you're grateful that I had a question in your journal tonight.
I'll definitely put that down. All right. Thanks, everyone.
See you, guys.
See ya.